Have you ever wondered why birds take to the skies in massive flocks? Or why certain animals embark on epic journeys across land, sea, and air? Migration is one of nature's most fascinating phenomena, a testament to the resilience and adaptability of life on Earth. From the Arctic terns that chase endless daylight, to the mighty wildebeest navigating treacherous terrain in search of greener pastures, migration is a story of survival, change, and incredible endurance.
In this video, we will explore what triggers animals to migrate, the incredible advantages it brings, and the challenges they face along the way. Let's embark on this journey together and uncover the mysteries of migration. Migration is the regular, often seasonal movement of animals from one location to another, usually for breeding, feeding, or better living conditions. It is a widespread phenomenon observed across various animal groups, including birds, mammals, fish, reptiles, insects, and even some crustaceans. Although there is no reason to think that migration is purposeful, it is carefully planned. For example, birds feed heavily to build up a food reserve before they embark on their journey. The tendency towards this behavior must be inherited and maintained by natural selection. When a migratory animal arrives at a breeding ground, a large, temporarily unclaimed area is available, and the fittest individuals will claim the best positions. Many migration routes are remarkable for their distance and for their complexity. Animals can make these huge journeys, in some cases, landing up on the same bush thousands of miles away each year. However, they wouldn't do it if it did not have some reproductive or survival success. It has been shown that for the same species, animals that are allowed to migrate become bigger and leave more offspring. Salmon fish that do not migrate only grow to about 20 centimeters, whereas, when they migrate, they can grow to 100 centimeters and will produce more eggs. When temperature falls, plant growth slows down or ceases, and the animals that depend on the plants have a reduced food supply. Keeping warm at a low temperature also requires a lot of energy expenditure. So, if an animal can move from one hemisphere to another, it can live in a perpetual summer where the length of the day allows plenty of time to collect food. The bar-tailed godwit, a wading bird, breeds in Siberia and Alaska during the summer in the northern hemisphere. They migrate 11,000 kilometers to spend the summer in New Zealand, feeding on the mudflats in river estuaries and coastal lakes. Wrybills and pied oyster catchers migrate to New Zealand's North Island estuaries from their breeding grounds on the eastern South Island river beds. Now, let us explore what triggers the urge for the animals to migrate. There are external and internal cues that trigger the urge to migrate. What are some of the external cues that trigger migration in animals? 1. Photoperiod. Longer days in summer and shorter days in winter cue some animals to migrate. Less sunlight results in lower rates of photosynthesis and, therefore, less food available. It also means lower temperatures. In migratory birds, for example, changes in the length of the day are sensed directly by the pineal gland. This triggers a characteristic behavior called zagun-ru or migratory restlessness. Shorter days also mean less time to feed. 2. Shifting seasons. In many areas, the temperature and levels of precipitation change, resulting in distinct wet and dry seasons. 3. Food and water availability. Lack of food or water as a result of extreme weather, lack of precipitation, or because of population. An area could reach its carrying capacity due to population pressure. Now, what are some of the internal migration cues that trigger migration? 1. Circadian rhythms. It is thought that the onset of migration may be under the partial control of an endogenous circadian rhythm. Experimental evidence suggests that some species have an innate sense of when to migrate even without exposure to external stimuli. 2. Fat reserve. A low-fat reserve may cue some species to move in search of food. However, migration only occurs after fat reserves have been built up. 3. Sexual maturity. When an animal reaches sexual maturity, hormones may trigger an innate desire to migrate to breeding grounds. Animal migration offers both advantages and disadvantages, with recent changes in climate and human activities altering the balance of these factors. Let us explore some of the advantages of animal migration. 1. Access to abundant food resources. Migrating animals can take advantage of seasonally plentiful food supplies in different regions. 2. Favorable breeding conditions. Northern breeding grounds traditionally offered longer days for foraging and safer environments for reproduction. 3. Lower pathogen and parasite pressure. Migrating to certain areas historically reduced exposure to diseases and parasites. 4. Predator avoidance. Some migration destinations provided relative safety from predators. 5. Climate optimization. Animals can escape harsh weather conditions by moving to more suitable climates. Now let us look at some of the disadvantages of animal migration. 1. Energy expenditure. Migration is resource demanding and requires significant energy reserves. 2. Increased mortality risks. Long journeys expose animals to various dangers, including predators and human-related threats. 3. Habitat loss. Human activities such as agricultural expansion and urban development are reducing available stopover sites and breeding grounds. 4. Climate change impacts. Shifting climate patterns are disrupting the timing of migrations and altering food availability at destination sites. 5. Human-made obstacles. Infrastructure like roads, fences, power lines, and wind turbines pose significant risks to migrating animals. 6. Pollution. Light, noise, and chemical pollution affect navigation and the overall health of migratory species. 7. Overexploitation. Migrating animals are vulnerable to hunting and fishing, both intentionally and as bycatch. 7. Recent studies indicate that the advantages of migration diminishing for many species. 1. Reduced food availability. Climate change is altering food supplies in northern breeding grounds. 2. Increased disease pressure. Pathogens and parasites are spreading to previously safe areas. 3. Higher predation rates. Predators are expanding their ranges, reducing the safety of traditional breeding grounds. 4. Timing mismatches. Climate change is causing misalignments between migration timing and optimal conditions at destination sites. These factors lead to lower reproductive success and higher mortality rates for many migratory species, potentially threatening the long-term viability of migration as a survival strategy. Thanks for watching this video on animal migration. Stay tuned for our next video, where we will delve into the fascinating methods animals use to navigate during migration and find their way back home.